Do you agree with President Trump that, say, 5,000 Somali residents of your district in St. Cloud are garbage?
I think what President Trump has done is raised an issue that is something that we've been trying to raise for almost 3 years. And press refuse to cover things that are right in front of them.
No, but I'm asking you, Donald Trump said that the Somalis are garbage. That's what I'm asking you about.
I'd love to answer your question,
okay.
But apparently you want to have an argument.
Well, it's a yes or no.
Maybe you can find someone else that you can have the argument with. Because I'm telling you, not all Somalis.
This is how it's done. Democrats going on the attack in the Rules Committee meeting led by Democrats like Congressmember Nagus. In the Rules Committee, you get to question the other side who shows up before the Rules Committee to try to defend their actions, defend their changes. And Democrats call out these MAGA Republicans who are refusing to let a vote happen on the House floor today to extend the Affordable Care Act subsidies. Instead, MAGA Mike Johnson and the Republicans are trying to force through the Rules Committee last night and force onto the House floor today some mixed-up bill of old, outdated, rejected Republican healthcare ideas that deal with banning women from reproductive care at a federal level. I mean, while the American people are saying, "Can you extend our Affordable Care Act subsidies, please? Because we're about to lose healthcare," MAGA Republicans are like, "Oh, do you mean you want us to further ban abortion now in blue states that allow women to have reproductive rights?" So, let me just show you what happened here. One of the things the MAGA Republicans are saying is let's get rid of the Affordable Care Act completely and maybe we can do some group health plans, AHPs, which actually lack a lot of the Affordable Care Act's required basic benefits like maternity coverage and other key coverages that are required under the Affordable Care Act. A lot of ones that actually save people's lives. And so you have Democratic Congressmember Joe Nagus. He's questioning the MAGA Republican Congressmember Wahlberg here. And Wahlberg here is trying to act like these AHPs are the best. So Nagus is like, "Oh, which plan are you on? Which plan are you on? Oh, you've got the best healthcare as a member of Congress, but you think the American people shouldn't get the same healthcare that you get as a Congress member?" Watch as Democratic Congressmember Nagus really takes apart this MAGA Republican. This is a great cross-exam by Congressmember Nagus, and he always does an amazing job on the Rules Committee here. Watch this.
I mean, it sounds like you're a big fan of these AHPs.
I certainly am.
Are you on one?
It's an option.
Are you on
an
one?
option. I'm not. I don't have to be on this. But I want to
What do you mean you don't have to be?
I have insurance otherwise.
What kind of insurance?
A good insurance.
Not an
That's
AHP?
not the question.
Well,
what about the small businesses?
Do you get essential health benefits?
What about the employers?
Wait a minute, Mr. Chairman.
The question is, do you want to give the same opportunities to small businesses and employers?
I think that the people should have the same.
Like you give to the large corporations.
I think they should have the same insurance you have.
Absolutely. I agree with you.
I suspect that your plan covers the essential health benefits under the ACA. Am I wrong?
I would assume it does. Not maternity.
Why can't they get that?
Not maternity, because frankly, I'm too old.
Well, I appreciate that, but why can't your constituents get the same essential health benefits?
They can. Give them the opportunity
not
for
under these
choices.
Plans?
For these choices, absolutely.
It's not required.
You don't think, well, are you saying Ford Motor Company doesn't give it?
I'm saying
Don't you think unions give it? Of course they do.
There are a variety of plans.
Of course.
Once
and
it's
why
no longer
would,
a legal requirement.
Why would in the competition of the marketplace, small businesses not want to give their employees
I hear you,
the same opportunities?
I think that the Madam Chair...
More receipts for you, Wahlberg. Okay, so first off, why are you rushing everything with MAGA? They rush through it like midnight, right? They go, "This is supposed to be an issue that affects Americans more than anything. Americans' healthcare. Americans need their Affordable Care Act subsidies." And right now you're pushing through something again. Once again, just like the disastrous budget bill that the American people can't see, you're holding no hearings about it publicly. Again, what do we see in the middle of the night? The MAGA Republicans try to force these things through, force votes, and screw over the American people. And Democratic Congressmember Nagus is like, "You've done all these bills about the Shower Act and shower pressure and these things. You don't think we should have gone through a process when it comes to taking away healthcare from tens of millions of Americans?" Watch Nagus right here. Play this clip.
I noted, I wrote this down, in your opening, you said, I think I quoted this right, I hope we can work across the aisle on this issue. How many legislative hearings has this bill received in your committee?
Well, so you're talking about the parts of the bill, the cost sharing reductions, we had legislative
I'm
hearings.
talking about the bill that we're talking about today. I'm talking the bill that
As
you're
is today?
testifying on.
This has not had legislative hearing, the
Okay.
specific bill, but we've
Got it.
had everything in the
Has
bill
it-
has been through.
Has it had a
Committee.
markup?
We did markup on cost sharing reductions and we did markup on
The
PBM
bill that
reform.
we're sitting here, that you're here to testify on this bill. We're
This
going to vote on
specific
it
bill did
tomorrow.
not have a markup.
Did not have a markup, right? You all had a markup last week in your full committee.
We did have
This
a-
bill wasn't one of them. I looked at the list. Saving homeowners from overregulation with exceptional rinsing. That's called the Shower Act. You're familiar with that bill?
I'm familiar with the
Shower
bill.
Act. That's a bill that you all took up last week. There's another one here. Don't Mess with My Home Appliances Act. Interesting title. Do you remember that
Yep.
bill?
Yeah, people want to be able to buy the appliance of their choice,
Got it.
not what's
So-
mandated by the government.
Don't Mess with My Home Appliances Act. Plenty of time to take up that bill last week. Plenty of time to take up the Shower Act.
We have
plenty
plenty
of
of time to
time-
take up this bill. too.
Well, this bill didn't get a markup in your committee,
Well, we're
Mr.
ready. It's
Chairman.
before us today.
You had 15 before the Rules Committee, not before the
I
Energy
know,
and
but I'm
Commerce
saying we
Committee.
have time to bring it up today.
Oh, well, why don't you have a markup if that's the case? If you scheduled one?
We're going to get a vote. You're going to get to vote
I'm
yes
not
or
asking
no.
about a vote,
Yes,
Mr.
you're
Chairman.
gonna get a
Come
vote.
on. You know what
We got
I'm
the cost
asking.
share reductions, going to lower premiums by 11%,
I hear you.
scored by CBO.
I hear you, Mr.
And so
Chairman.
we're going to have a chance to
We're
make
going to
that
talk about the
decision.
CBO score.
PBM reform is in the bill. We're going
I-
to have a chance to vote on that on the floor.
I hear you. I think you could imagine the dismay of folks that I represent in Colorado. I suspect in Kentucky too, who say, wait a minute. You've got this really powerful Energy and Commerce Committee. Boy, members of Congress, at least those that I know, they fight really hard to get on this committee. You schedule a markup last week. You've got 15 bills. 6 of those 15 bills are on home appliances, the Shower Act, and you can't be bothered to include your health care plan that you've been spending a year
We have been
developing.
working on this bill. We marked it up in May before it came
Well,
to sections of this bill.
you mentioned working on a bipartisan
We've done
basis.
PBM reform in a bipartisan way.
Have you worked with Mr. Pallone on this bill?
We're not on this specific bill, but
Not on this bill.
we've worked on bipartisan
Isn't
on
this the big one?
PBM reform.
Well, the reason why I say that, Mr. Guthrie, is because I actually agreed with the premise, with that line in your testimony about working in good faith on, with respect to this particular issue across party lines. And it's pretty clear to me that that's not embedded in this bill. But in any event,
Then you have Democratic Congress member McGovern, and he's like, okay, so what you're saying is that you all have concepts of plans. Concepts of plans. Here, play this clip.
So if by concept of a plan, you meant screwing millions of people over, including the millions who voted for Republicans in the last election, I think you've accomplished your goal. And it's not just that this is a lousy healthcare bill. The latest CBO score, I don't know if you've seen it, just came out, and this bill would kick 100,000 more people off their healthcare than if you did nothing. So by passing this bill, even more people are going to lose their health insurance.
And frankly, the MAGA Republicans had nothing good to say in response. You have MAGA Republican Chip Roy saying that basically the Republicans are just offering a bunch of garbage this week. He admits it. MAGA Republican Chip Roy says, yeah, we're offering milk toast garbage. His exact words here, play this clip.
And now we're sitting here and we're listening to nonsense about health care, where my colleagues on the other side of the aisle sit here saying, well, you guys aren't doing anything about the massive expensive cost of health care. Why do you think it's expensive? Because you literally cut a deal with insurance companies to run health care. You think that's going to run wild? Yeah. That's why they have 2,000% profit increases, and the American people can't afford to go to the doctor of their choice while we enrich insurance companies. And yet Republicans will complain about it, and then they'll offer milquetoast garbage like we're offering this week, and then go home at Christmas and say, look at what we're doing. We're campaigning on reducing health care. Well, congratulations. At some point, people will look at this body and say, maybe we should get rid of all 435 members of the House and all 100 members of the Senate and start over, because Congress is literally failing the American people. I yield back.
And then there's all this infighting. Chip Roy goes after Marjorie Taylor Greene. Everyone's going after each other. Just watch what Chip Roy says here. Play this clip.
That's the case. Marjorie was given this vote this week to buy her vote on the National Defense Authorization Act. Everybody knows it. It happened right there on the floor of the House. The majority leader said, Marjorie, would you like to have your bill brought up to the floor? And guess what? Got a yes vote on the rule for the National Defense Authorization Act. And that's the kind of shit that keeps happening around this institution all the time, including on our side of the aisle. And I'm sick of it. And I'm sick of what happened in the Judiciary Committee when we should have done it there. We should have addressed it in the Judiciary Committee. The people who are supposed to be vanguards of the Constitution.
And then Democratic Congresswoman Teresa Fernandez. She brings up this important point that I raised at the start of this video, that this Republican health plan, which they're calling it, does not deal with extending the Affordable Care Act subsidies. Okay, what it does do, though, is have a hidden abortion ban that puts women's lives at risk by getting in the way of a doctor's medical judgment. This is what the Republicans' plan was, to now go after reproductive rights in blue states where women are still able to have reproductive rights. And when Democratic Congresswoman Fernandez is questioning the Republican witness, because again, Republican congressmen have to testify at the Rules Committee, she gives her own experience. She goes, "This was my life story. Let me explain to you what happened to me." The Republican congressman's like, "Yeah, we don't think that happens to women." Wait. I'm not worried about that happening to women. It's that's their position. Here, play this clip.
Do you think it is right that a woman should have to go into sepsis and almost die, become infertile, before her doctors will treat her?
Obviously, don't think that's what's going to happen, but also don't think the public wants to pay for abortions.
Well, that's the interesting thing, is that right now, the federal government does not pay for abortion care. What will happen, though, is that access to health care for women is key. And I see that the back doorway in which Republicans are intending to restrict access to abortion care in states like New Mexico, where it is legal. I need to tell you, in New Mexico, I almost died in pregnancy. And I was the woman who was on the operating table, bleeding to death. I got to make every decision with regards to what care I wanted, and my doctors did not have to worry about whether it would be paid for by my health insurance plan or whether they would go to jail because of decisions I needed to make based on my own choices. And right now, what you have done in this bill is a backdoor way of restricting women's access to health insurance to pay for reproductive health, even in private insurance plans.
Trying to dig deeper, didn't you serve back before Donald Trump told you that you now have to hate the Somali community? Weren't you on the Somali caucus? You're a Congress member in Minnesota with a large Somali population, and you used to pretend to care about the Somali population. You were on the Somali caucus, and now you're saying that Somali people are garbage. That's what Donald Trump says, that Somali people, all of them, are garbage, and you're okay with that as a Congress member from Minnesota. Shame on you. Watch as our Pablo Manriquez catches up with him. Play this clip.
Trevor, do you agree with President Trump that, say, 5,000 Somali residents of your district in St. Cloud are garbage?
I think what President Trump has done is raised an issue that is something that we've been trying to raise for almost 3 years. And press refused to cover things that are right in front of them.
No, but I'm asking you,
Right now, they're
Donald Trump said that the Somalis are garbage. That's what I'm asking you about.
I'd love to answer your question,
Okay.
but apparently you want to have an argument.
Well, it's a yes or no.
Maybe you can find someone else that you can have the argument with. Because I'm telling you, not all Somalis are bad.
Thank you.
90% of the Somalis or the crimes that have been charged are from the Somali community. And there's nothing wrong and nothing racist about calling out crime.
And let's just take a look at AOC, also with Pablo Manriquez on the Hill. Here's what she says about Donald Trump's basically his declaration of war through a social media post against Venezuela, and saying that he started a blockade against oil tankers going into Venezuela. Play this clip.
That the drug crisis is has been a large one here in the country, but to begin engaging in and making enemies of our allies in Latin America and threatening the lives of service members in this process, it's just reckless. And frankly, the intelligence has not been shared from this administration to Congress to authorize such activity.
If it's shared, it shows that these legitimate targets. Then what? I mean, is it something you can support down the road if they show you evidence?
Congress, it is the responsibility of Congress to declare and authorize military use of force. Congress has not authorized and had a vote on a military use of force, and so the case needs to be made against what actors, and there has to be, again, a case that's made. And I think the lack of one really speaks volumes, and the fact that this administration has not even shared their case with the committees of jurisdiction, not with the Intelligence Committee, Defense, etc., I think is a huge red flag for everyone. Thank you.
And here she is again saying that the American people are overwhelmingly against reckless intervention. Let's play it.
There could be moving into Colombia because they've just designated a Colombian drug cartel as being terrorist organization.
Yes,
What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think that overwhelmingly Americans are opposed to this reckless interventionism. We, frankly, on both sides of the aisle, Democrat, Republican, Independent, people are sick of these endless wars. And every time we wind down in one area, there seems to be an excuse to start hostilities in another.
And here you have veteran Democratic Senator Ruben Gallego. He really lays out here what the Trump administration is doing and how they are pushing this war against Venezuela and what their plan is.
American people will be to what they're hearing tonight from you.
Well, hopefully they're pissed off. Hopefully they call the Republican senators and members of Congress and say that I don't want to go to war. But there's a reason why they're doing the way they're doing it. The reason they're slowly building up, saying we're going to go after these drug dealers first, then they're going after tankers, then they're going to close the airspace, then they're hoping Venezuela reacts in some hostile way to defend their own sovereignty, then we'll have to react, and then the president's going to come here and ask everyone to rally around the flag, and that's how we find ourselves in war. What I'm telling you is they're setting it all up to happen. Be aware. Be aware what they're doing. They're slowly putting the pressure on Venezuela so they react. And so the American public gets used to us doing hostile acts. We went from putting sanctions to droning speedboats. And the American public hasn't reacted that bad. So what else are they going to continue doing until we finally find ourselves in war? But let's be clear. The goal of what they're doing right now is to get us into war. They're not going to be able to stop the drug trade. They're not effectively going to have to go after narcos in this way. At the end of the day, all they want to do is get rid of Maduro. And if they can get rid of Maduro through peaceful manner, they will. It's not working right now. If they trigger a war to happen, they'll gladly do it.
That warning means more.
And then you have another veteran, Democratic Senator Duckworth. Here's what she says. Play this clip.
Well, I heard a lot of chest thumping, but not a lot of answers to the questions that I still have. And I would have to agree with the discussion you're having right now, which is I think the president is trying to lead us into yet another forever war that Americans don't want. If this is justifiable, then come to Congress. We have the power to declare a war. Come to us and ask for an authorization for use of military force. The fact of the matter is they're not doing that. And if they truly were going to go after drug traffickers, and the president would not have pardoned the former president of Honduras who trafficked over 400 tons of cocaine into the United States. So what exactly is he trying to do here?